the idea here of substitution. Right? Substitution, another word you could put in for it is swapping. I like swapping. Can anyone think of any other synonyms, words we use in everyday language that would mean substitute or swap? Surely you can think of some more. Yes? Switch. Excellent. I like that. Switch. It's got a ring to it. Okay, another one. Yeah, for what? Trade. Yes, very good. Trade one thing for another. Kieran? Change. Ooh, now. I'll put a star next to change. The reason why is you can use it to say change one thing for another, but it's not quite the same as these, and we'll sort of expand on what the difference is in a minute. Let's see. Exchange. So, exchange. That's a bit different, isn't it? Okay. Maybe one more? Can anyone think of another one? Or was that the one you guys are thinking of?
I don't know.
I'll give you another one. One more. Replace. Okay. So I'd like you to have all of these words down. What's in common between all of these? And why is exchange just a tiny bit different but better than change? What is it that makes the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yes, that is the prefix, but what does that change about the meaning? Yeah. You're using the other words that are on the list, aren't you? We have exchanges in our shopping centres, don't we? Right? For instance, the reason why exchange is better than change, right? Is, and we were struggling to come up with any other words, weren't you? It's literally, I'll give you one thing, and you sort of get the same thing back, but maybe in a slightly different form. For instance, you might swap US dollars for Australian dollars, right? But I would assume, if you give them some amount, you're expecting pretty much the same amount back. It wouldn't be an exchange if you didn't get the same amount. Whereas change is kind of like, I give you $5 and then you give me, some product. And change is actually quite a lot different. Yeah.
Why did you write USD?
Because that's that is the abbreviation for US dollars. And this is the abbreviation for Australian dollars. Okay, so what does this have to do with algebra? Well, if you remember, algebra, right? It was all about, the particular key idea was pronumerals. In other words, they're letters that we put in place of numbers. I guess you could say they're letters that have been substituted for numbers. Okay? So for instance, if I said something like this, okay, A is actually a number. It's really a number. I just don't know what it is at the moment, right? I've substituted whatever that unknown number is for this letter A, okay? But I can just as easily go back the other way, okay? So for instance, I can say, and I'd like you to write this down just above this, right? When A equals 3. So now you see this number that I didn't know before, right? I'm assigning it a value. Or maybe I found out through some earlier part of the question, I found out that that's what the value of A is. Now, I can substitute this into this, okay? So I can say, when A equals 3, 5A minus 4 is equal to, well, let's see what happens. When I put 3 back instead of A, right? I'll say 5 times 3, because that's what 5A is short for, right? 5 times A, minus 4. And this was the kind of question you were doing, wasn't it, right? In fact, this itself may have been one of the questions you can't remember, right? Now, what's that equal to? Well, that's 5 times 3, which is 15, minus 4, which is 11. Excellent, okay? So you can see this thing here, this expression, very important. This is an expression. It's not an equation, right? There's no equal sign there, okay? I can take a certain value of A and substitute it into the expression, okay? In fact, that's so important, I'm going to label that on the side, and you should too. right? This process here is substituting a value into an expression. You'll hear that phrase a lot, right? Can you see you've got some important pieces there, right? What's the value? It's this. That's the value there, right? It's the pronumeral, but now I'm saying, well, what if the pronumeral was this? And what I'm putting it into is the expression, right? Value into the expression. These are kind of like your two pieces in a puzzle, they interlock, okay? And that process is substituting, okay? And the important thing you need to get is, this expression, it can equal different things if we substitute different things in there, okay? So for example, suppose A wasn't 3. Let's suppose it was, let's do something fun. Let's do some negatives because we had some of those before. When A is -2, okay, what would happen here? I'm going to do the same process here, right? Everywhere I see A, I'm going to substitute it for -2, okay? Let's do that. I'll have 5 times -2. I put the brackets in there just to clarify that that's a negative and not a minus sign, right? -4. Okay, 5 times -2. What's 5 times -2? Well, just regular 5 times 2 is? 10. So 5 times -2 would be? -10. Excellent. -10. There you go. That's that part there. -4. Okay, so if you picture your number line, right? -10 is all the way over here on the left of 0, and then you go a bit further. So what do you get? -10 negative, I should say, -14. Good. So you can see there's one expression, 5a minus 4, right? It takes a lot of different values when I substitute different values in. This process is super, super important.